the playoffs, they've come. They've not quite gone. People are going home. People are not playing anymore. Their season's ended whilst the teams taste the glory of the creme brulee of Uniball. Not too much in terms of, the nonsense, but we'll talk about the playoffs because that is what is important. We've also got some other things. Obviously, the NFL saying who's coming over this year, and then cheeky buffer, and then do you want to join Gridiron Hub or Sport Tank? So getting into it, we're going to start this week. It's going to be a very systematic week. We're going to start with the classic Baffer report, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. This
is one of your things, isn't it? Like you've built this for yourself.
That's it. Baffer should sponsor me. There you go. Perfect. Not too much this week. I'll get some free refreshments. Unbelievable stuff. But not too much. The only big thing in terms of player rejections is last week we said that the Leicester Longhorns had some ineligible players. We weren't able to confirm that. We are now able to confirm that 2 players for Leicester Longhorns didn't appear to be on the roster. What is it with Leicester? What is this? What is this uni? What is this city culture?
There must be some sort of like underground military testing thing. Some sort of magnetic field that poisons the mind, and people need to bend the rules. That's the only thing. That's the only reasonable explanation. But it's there is a spelling error on it actually.
There is as well, yes. But
yeah,
I'm not going to get on Baffer for their spelling. We get on Baffer enough. We don't need to tell them about their spelling.
Just reading about it though. So we one thing we sort of mentioned last week was when we mentioned the story that we knew was coming out was we don't know what the penance is, what the punishment is. If anything, we speculated on, like we said, it's probably a lighter situation than the DMU one with them playing, an ineligible player that had left the uni 2 years prior. Leicester had a season where they didn't win a game, so they certainly weren't bringing any ringers in. And it does look like, so from Bafra's perspective, they said the 2 players were swapping jersey numbers. Now that may sound dodgy, but it's not. Like that's a normal protocol. The coach advised the refs, like that's fine. That's what it says. And people might sort of point to that and go, "Oh, that's they shouldn't be swapping numbers. What are they doing that for?" But that's fine. No. It happens in games, right? And it was during that process that the refs checked the roster and were like, "Oh, these guys aren't on the roster. I need to reject them." So they would have been fine, and it probably just would have gone completely under the radar, which I don't know, maybe raises more questions. But it's both players have been given a single game suspension, and that's a Baffer suspension, meaning that it could be a Uniball or drop the camera. Could be Uniball, could be Senior Ball, depending on when either of these next players decide to grace the field. Just sort of it feels as understated as we were sort of expecting. And it was like an administrative error sort of thing although that's not confirmed.
I feel like the big question is like, let's say that it's not. Let's say they just got unlucky and get caught out. It's more so like, is this going on more than we think?
Well, I said that at the time. I said that when the DMU one happened. I think more would come out of the woodwork. I think it was Grant who popped up in the chat and speculated. And I think it will come up. I just think it's funny, as we said at the time. It's another Leicester team.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But I imagine there may be. I don't think it's rife. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's like there's one in every team. I think it's. But I don't think those are the 2 only isolated incidents of it. What is unknown and I don't know about and isn't clear. Is there going to be further investigation, disciplinary action, whatever, from Bucks or Baffer? Because this is just Baffer, right? And does Baffer do they speak for Baffer? Like, I don't know that, that's sort of like I feel like this is probably it done and dusted, but I also feel that Bucks could turn around and say, well, by the letter of the law, you've broken the same rule.
I feel like they're gonna have to put in whatever punishment they're going to give to DMU, which is obviously currently unknown. They're going to have to at least do it on a. They're going to have to do it on a case by case basis. We don't know.
Chris Greens pops up and said this 100% happened. Yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, like it, and I'm not as close to Uniball as well, even you, Tebbs. I've never played it, or I know a couple of coaches, but that's about it. So yeah.
Like the only thing that I can really relate it to is in my first year there was the idea of language courses, putting someone on a language course who'd left uni, but that made them eligible.
Oh yeah. Well, that happened in the early 2000s. That there was this joke. Even when I joined, when I started playing Britball in 2006, there was even jokes then around like, oh, you do the basket weaving course, and then you can sign up for the team. The team local to the team that I was playing for was the Surrey Stingers, right? So yeah, like that's been around a while. But then like that joke, that because I think it happened, then it got stopped.
Yes. Which is a shame because give me a chance to learn Mandarin and give me 6 more months on the Colonials. That's what I want. But
a virtual language course, and then pull out of it. Yeah. Elliot Luke's asking what he missed. Elliot, there was recent speculation, or well, not even speculation. We knew it happened. That there was 2 players sent off last week for Leicester, who were both unregistered, and this follows quite a big scandal, really. Probably the biggest one this season so far in Uniball, with DMU Lions, another Leicester-based team, playing for 3. Was it 3 confirmed games, Tebbs?
Yes. So it'd be the 3 that were walked over. So yeah.
Yeah, and an ineligible player that he'd been out of the game for 2 years. He'd been out of uni for 2 years, and had an agreement seemingly with the head coach and one of the committee members, or 2 of the committee members, to play, and it basically wrote off the DMU Lions season. So that's what happened. Oh, cool. So yeah.
But in terms of the classic BAFTA report, we'll get back to it in a second. There's only one where they've given it gold stars. Once again, ladies and gentlemen,
their game management reports.
They certainly have. And ladies and gentlemen, we have to give it up for the Southampton Stags. They seem to be ref central. If you want a beautiful BAFTA holiday, you go down to Southampton. Both sidelines showed good approach to the game, and the refreshments provided by Southampton were the usual high standard. 5 Michelin stars for you, Southampton.
I can't see that. Oh yeah. Sorry, I was just reading about the ball crew and how excellent they were. And they were mind readers.
The chain crew were excellent. Oh, mate, honestly, give me that. Give me how much do you think an NFL chain crew gets? Probably too much, I imagine. That's a job I want.
Question. That is a great question.
Honestly, that's an
NFL, because they ain't chucking them £80 a game, are they? They're do you reckon they're professional?
Yes, 100%.
Like, that's the thing. Are they semi-pro? Like, there's this.
No, they've got.
Do you reckon they travel with crews, or are they provided by home teams? That's really interesting. I'm gonna try and reach out to my NFL UK contacts and see if I can find some more information about this.
Well, I don't think like Jarvis Landry just grabs a couple of his mates who were in the crowd, being like, "Oh, could you do chain crew for me, please?" No, unlike Uniball, which is the best part. I was really worried when I went down to Plymouth, they'd be like, "Can you do chain crew?" No, I can't.
Always turn up late, mate.
Always turn up late.
Here we go. Martin said, apparently it's $100 per game for chain crew. So you're wrong. You're wrong, Tebbs. Potentially.
Hey, man.
The limited information that we know.
Hey, man, I mean, that's a sweet gig to go and stand around watching. That's the dream job, Manby Dolphins chain crew, because I'm not going to be anything else, am I?
Well, one thing you can guarantee is that you will not have a chain set that is slightly too short, as the Brighton Panthers do.
God.
How does that happen?
They might need to do a Nottingham Caesars and appeal for some new kit.
Oh, there's some absolute classics in the game. What the game management reports. But I want to come back to that later. Actually, the game management reports is in line with another thing I want to when I broach another subject later. But one thing in Neil said, hello Neil. He said, don't players have to register before the season starts? Yeah, well the players need to have a. Is it? And you're gonna have to correct me here, but a .ak or
AC.
What AC? A .ac email address which you get as a student, as an active student, and then that email address that you use while you're a student becomes an alumni address once you leave, so you still get it. And this guy was arguing with his teammates that he was able to register with it, but that's not been proven. It's just been said, and it's been called out as bullshit. But yeah, players should register. Players register with their active AC email address that they get from their university. So it's pretty watertight. Like this was them absolutely, like, being deceitful, and a group of people being complicit on it, and not even, not everyone at the club knowing about it. And you just be gutted. You play your whole season and then find that out, and the people that you trust, basically fucked over your season, and gave you a bad name, and put your opponents in danger, really. Like, I just think it's a bit naughty. So yeah, so I don't think it's the fact that there's not rigorous enough process. I just think that they did what they could to get around whatever process there was in place, and ultimately they didn't get away with it, but they were able to successfully field this ineligible player 3 times that we know of.
But as we get through Bafra, because the Bafras, again, it's only like the crust on the playoff cake. We're going into the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first week of the playoffs. Some highs, some lows, and very, very creamy middles.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Stuart has popped up and he said, field marked in IFAF yards and the chain set to 10 actual yards. What? Stuart, what is the difference? Why is there a difference? That's ridiculous. There's such thing as is there an IFAF second and an IFAF minute as well? Like, what the fuck? Sure, these are universal measurements, right? Like, I'd love to know more about that. That's ridiculous. And so if I read this right, an IFAF yard is longer than an actual yard because of what the slightly too short chain set thing, right? So if you buy a chain set, it should be in 10 actual yards, you would assume. Like, why would IFAF then try and bring in another yard rule? Stuart said, do you not know about the IFAF yard? No, evidently not. I need to look into this, and I'll come back to you. But that blows my mind, that there are different yard. Oh, someone's popped up and said it. James, thanks, James. An IFAF yard can be as short as 34 point. Is that so that it converts over to metric nicely, or like what? Instead of 36 inches, I assume, is that 36 inches a yard? 3 foot? Sounds right.
Yes.
Stuart. Oh my God. Sorry, Tebbs.
Are we going into the next scandal? The IFAF yard.
It's not even. It's just a load of shit. Why are they doing that? I'd love to know the justification for it. It's got to be some metric versus imperial thing on the continent, because we're quite good about jumping between metric and imperial, even though most people say, oh, they don't like imperial, but we use like miles per hour and all that sort of stuff. Like, obviously on the continent they're a lot more metric heavy, but that's insane. Kieran said, madness. I didn't believe it and just checked it out. Sadly, very true. Oh my God. Well, Tebbs, I think we got your next article and my next rant coming up. That I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So because it's an IFAF yard, you could then feasibly mark your field shorter and say, oh, we've used IFAF yards, and a player could could run for 120 yards in a game, for example, and they actually haven't run. I know it's negligible, but they still haven't actually run that far. They're probably a few yards short. Yeah, Alex, we are. Yeah.
And welcome to the rundown where we discuss.
Yeah. I just
IFAF
call out shit as I see it, Alex. This is unexpected. This was not a plant, but fucking hell.
I'm trying to go through the playoffs. He's discussing yards.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Well, we'll move on from this in a sec. But I just want to. We've got the final word from Stuart for now. 1 yard is 36 inches, 91.44 centimeters, but maybe shortened to no less than 34.12 inches. 80. See, even that's not like rounded numbers. 86.67 centimeters, only if necessary to fit a 100-yard field. What the fuck?
Hey man, you've never had someone trying to put a couple of inches on you. You don't know how it is.
That's ridiculous. Plus 2 10-yard end zones available play. If the length of the field is reduced this way, all the other dimensions and markings stated in the rules must be reduced commensurately. Am I reading that right?
Commensurately.
Commensurately. I don't know that word. I think it means as well.
Very good.
Every day is a school day. And yeah, someone just popped. Thanks, Tony, for putting that in. I can't believe there's an IFAF yard. It's a great thing that you can use and say. It's ridiculous, though, isn't it?
Mate, I might put that on my tin. Might put that on my Tinder. I'm, X amount of IFAF yards tall.
Is this that over 100 yards it reduces the field by 10 yards, which would be the rugby, the conformative to the rugby field dimensions? Is that what that is? Like, I don't fucking hell. Feel sorry, yeah. Someone did pop up with a DMU statement, so I'm just going to quickly. So Macy Ray, heartbreak over here at DMU. Let's not forget the hate our players have been receiving, even though they didn't know what had been going on. To go 6-0 and have the season taken is shit. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's it. It's like I was lucky enough to go and see Lincoln versus DMU, and it was a good group of guys. They were as good as their reputation preceded them to be, in like blowing out Staffordshire, who've now gone up. And then, putting on good performances against Lincoln and Nottingham. And then obviously their performance against Huddersfield, or was it was either Kiel or Huddersfield, I forget which one got walked over. But I feel like that's, probably one of the biggest tragedies of it all, is that they were a good football team.
Yep.
And
yeah, but they felt they were good. Like, they were enjoying their football. That, like, do you know what I mean? Like, they felt that was one of their best season that they'd ever had.
Oh, I can imagine it.
That's a killer. That's a massive knock, a massive blow.
And that's just that's just how it works when you try and cheat. Bucks will come down on you.
Yeah. Matthew said, yeah. Then that's what I sort of speculated.
Oh my God!
It's so that we can use rugby fields, but still maintain 100 yards. What the fuck?
Stop talking about IFAF yards.
Sorry. Well, I think
we'll do half an hour.
Now, but
we'll do half an hour on IFAF yards.
Yeah, I'll do a separate live stream about it. I think. Aidan's ready to get into the destroyers and not IFAF. Right, which is fair enough. I know we know what you guys are coming for. Yeah. I can assure you this hasn't been a bait and switch. We didn't intend on talking about this. Stuart set us off, I think.
No, he set you off. I'm just here listening to you run.
Yeah. Well, it's not difficult. Maybe he knows now how to push my buttons. But just ridiculous. Surely whatever you call the actual unit you're using for a yard, the chain should be matching. And it does, but not an IFAF yard. What the fuck? Oh, I can't. All right, we've got to move on. Go on.
We have got to move on.
I could spend an hour on this. It pisses me off.
So we're going to go through I'm going to go through the Prem scores while Steve tries to gather himself, trying to figure out what exactly an IFAF yard is. We'd go through it on Saturday. Birmingham Lions beat Durham Saints 43-38. The UE Bullets got a walkover victory against the Stirling Klansmen. Nottingham Gold 43. UEA Pirates 2. Leeds Beckett 52. Cardiff Cobras 6. The SGS Pride with a walkover victory of the QMBL Vipers. Loughborough Students 15. Warwick Wolves 6. Imperial Immortals 6. Portsmouth Destroyers 7, Royal Holloway Bears 0, Exeter Demons 12, Nottingham Trent Renegades 54, Edinburgh Predators 0, the Brunel Burners 23, Hertfordshire Hurricanes 7, Sheffield Hallam Warriors 35, and the Sheffield Sabres 0. Newcastle Raiders 14, Manchester Tyrants 12. Now in the Div 2, Manchester Metropolitan Eagles 28, UClan Rams 10, Staffordshire Stallions 18, 14 to Nottingham Green, Edinburgh Napier Knights 8, Liverpool Raptors 24. In the crime of the century, the Glasgow Tigers 27, Lincoln Colonials 0. In the Div 2 South, Bournemouth Bobcats 31, Uri Bullets 2, 6, KCL Regents 34, Brighton Panthers 12, and Kent Falcons 6. OBU Panthers 0. We got one more game that is yet to be played. That is the Oxford Lancers versus the Greenwich Mariners, which was postponed due to COVID cases. So we can get through it.
Was it? Let's talk about that. Was it postponed due to COVID? Well, that's the original. I think they've completely played the COVID card. And I know that's really controversial. I can't substantiate it. But I heard early in the week that they were looking to try and move the game because they didn't have enough players. They had players out injured and they wanted to have a full strength squad, and so they were trying to use that extra because you got an extra week, right? Because Div 1 has to go into quarterfinals this weekend. The other leagues don't. So the other leagues get an extra week in the playoffs. So yes, while it was mathematically possible, it could be argued that it wasn't a fair deal for either team really, because they don't get that week break in between games and more time to prepare for their next opponent, right? So you could imagine, like, if you're Oxford Lancers and Greenwich are pushing for that, if I was in charge, I'd be like, no, we're not moving it. You're going to stitch us up for the rest of our games. We're planning on beating you, right? Obviously, right? So I feel that what's happened here is they didn't want to say they had too many injured players, risk getting a walkover loss, and ended up playing the COVID card because it is in the regulations for this season that you can say it. No proofs required. I read it all in the regulations. They don't need to provide proof. They just need to say, enough of there's not even numbers. It's just enough of our team have been impacted for us not to play a competitive side or something like that. I think they've sort of work the system here to their advantage. We'll see if it's to their advantage. I don't believe that there's been a massive COVID outbreak at Greenwich. But anyway.
But there you go. That's the last one to not be played, so we're going to go into it. Obviously, we were lucky enough to go to some Uniball games this week. Steve went to Royal Holloway versus Exeter.
Yeah, we're going to start. Should we start with the games that we went to?
Let's go for it, and then we can get on to some of the upsets, some of the sad stuff. So Steve went to Exeter Demons versus Royal Holloway Bears, and I fulfilled my end of the bargain, and I went to see Portsmouth versus Imperial. And what a game! Genuinely.
Well, you got one question about this first. Did you not go to Birmingham on Saturday to watch that?
No, because I didn't want to drive. But I will go. I'm going to go and see Nottingham versus Birmingham at the weekend.
Okay.
That's my fault. It simply is I had a long drive down to London, and I wanted a day off. There you go.
I just want to quickly thank Kieran Bean for sending us the regulations on the IFAF pitches. I will dive into that later, not on stream, but yeah.
Thank God, not on stream.
Case closed. Well, you may. I think it just makes a mockery of everything. I love jumping on stuff like that. Anyway. Do you want me to go into Holloway, the Holloway experience?
No, I'll go into Portsmouth first. You can go into Holloway afterwards. How about that?
All right, mate. Let's go.
So yeah, Portsmouth went down. I was expecting to be spat on by Portsmouth players. No, everyone was very, very nice. What?
Pulling out.
It's because I was like, yeah, I'll go to that, and then I looked at how far away it was. It was like 3 hours drive. I'm like, I'm simply not going to go to that. I'm simply not going to do that to myself.
The recent war breaking out in the Ukraine has put question marks over the cost of fuel. I can't take the risk.
No, it wasn't even that. It was like I just don't want to sit in my car for 6 hours.
Should have said, oh well, I couldn't make it because Greenwich all had COVID.
Yeah.
Start off Harrison, that's what we do, mate. That's what this fucking show is.
He wants to talk about Portsmouth. That's why.
I know.
He wants to talk about Portsmouth. Steve, go into Exeter and roll. No. So Portsmouth was.
Did you know there's such thing as an IFAF yard?
So yeah, Portsmouth was lovely. I thought I was going to get more abuse than I did, but no, everyone was very, very friendly. They're all coaching staff. They came up to me and they were all good having a joke. I did hear during the halftime speech given by the Portsmouth coach. He did mention that I was here and I had wrote them off 0-3 into the season. I heard him say that. I don't think he heard me hearing him say that.
He's going to milk that cow for as long as he can. It's like 4 or 5 years. Do you remember? Yeah, that'll be it. You weren't born then, but he'll bring it up in like his work meetings as well, like fucking. But yeah, no, it's good. It's good that you provide the inspiration. I'm disappointed that you didn't get a fat lip. I was hoping.
Oh, so did I.
That's not the story I wanted.
I really thought I was going to come. Steve Portsmouth punched me in the face. That's why I'm worried about going down. Because I said I might go down at the weekend. I'm probably not because
you've been asked. You've been asked actually. Harrison also asked that. Are you coming to Portsmouth Sunday? I'm likely to go. I'm likely to go on Sunday.
There you go. You got coverage.
So yeah, we'll see. I need to get that. I need to sort of make arrangements because I'll have one of my boys or two of my boys with me, and what I'll try and do is get like my mum to come. And then she can look after the boys, go and take them somewhere, and I can focus on the football. We'll see. So yeah, that's my master plan.
But great game. Everyone was friendly. I got the abuse that I deserved from Portsmouth after they won.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great game. Imperial went 6-0 up at the start. The first play of the game was a double pass that went for yards. Speaking to, I believe, the defensive coordinator.
A double pass? What, like a flat, a backwards pass to the flat, and then a
yes,
right, bloody hell.
Yeah. Then he was like, yeah. From all the footage we had, we didn't see him do that, which was very good. But Portsmouth came back. They never gave up. It was a beautiful touchdown throw. I was lucky to be stood right on the right down the end when it happened. Beautiful. Again, I've said to the DC, all right, then I said this game might come down to like the foot of your kicker because the score was only 6-0 going into the half. And, I guess I was right. I mean, they got a touchdown, but kick went through, holding call denied. 7-6 to Portsmouth. I can shut my mouth. They're going through.
How did Portsmouth score their touchdown?
So, by basically using more of the run game. One thing I will say about Imperial is they're for a squad of, I counted 24. They were amazing because even if you can drill all your players until you're blue in the face, that okay, they're a small squad, but they're all athletes. You get off that bus, you see 24 people when you're in a squad of 50 odd, you're going to be like, they're going to burn out. But, Imperial didn't really burn out that much. But Portsmouth just, I think they game planned better. The time management was, perfect. I believe it was the ball was given back to Imperial with 5 seconds left and Portsmouth picked it off. Just like that, game finished. But
pick six?
Not a pick six, just
but they got the ball back.
They got the ball back. That's it. End of the game. Yeah, very, very good. I'm happy for them all. I'm good. Got the abuse that I deserved. But yeah, very good
scenes. I bet they were going nuts, man. That kick, fucking.
Honestly, that touchdown as well, just being on the side, everyone erupted, and then obviously, however long was left in the game, I think it might have been maybe less than 2 minutes after the touchdown was scored. Portsmouth were electric. Got to give it to Imperial. I didn't realise that was such a small squad. Don't get me wrong; they could have had injuries, and it could have been a larger squad at the beginning of the year. But to be the 2 seed with a squad of 24 and going to a playoff game, the word that I used for describing their defense was stifling. I think there were people playing both ways, and it was just crushing. Like they were trading interceptions at the start of the game. But yeah, good job, Portsmouth. Shut my mouth. They've got Exeter on Sunday, which draws in perfectly for Steve. You went to Royal Holloway versus Exeter. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, just before I jump into that, Neil's popped up and said, "Will any of you go to SGS?"
I wouldn't be
not this weekend. Potentially on the weekend of the 13th. I think that'll probably, unless Brunel beat them, then I'll go to Brunel. but yeah, that's probably the closest to where I live of the remaining games. So yeah, I don't know. It depends on like childcare, but yeah, we'll see. So Holloway and Demons. It was a really good game, and I was thinking about. I think the Demons have been quite dominant this season, right? And even in their losses to Pride, I think they had the Pride to like 30 something points. They're the only team to do that.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
But then I heard things about like their QB, who had been a bit of a stud for him this year, had retired, like stopped playing or was injured. There were sort of mixed messages coming from different people I was speaking to prior to the game. And I thought, that could be an issue, right? But yeah, so I'd seen Holloway play, and I really like Holloway the way they play. I think they're a solid side. I think they play very consistent football. What surprised me about the way Holloway started playing was that, and both teams, there was a few pass attempts early on, and then it turned into a massive running game for both sides, and it sort of, I found that quite boring to watch, because I was thinking, oh right, you run a few, and then you should be setting up for a certain one-on-one, or you should be looking at where's their weak DBs, who's your best receiver. So I kept looking out to to the flats and to the lineups. There was a few very tall receivers for Exeter, so I was sort of expecting them to target, but they just weren't. Then as we got towards half time, Exeter scored. They scored first, and that was actually a pass play, very short pass play. They were in the red zone, and then Holloway were back, and they started throwing. And from then on, it was really nice, like good football being played. A good like spread of passes and runs. But most of the yards were gained on the ground, I would say. I don't have the stats to prove that, but it seemed the run was a lot more effective. And then there was, and I tweeted about it, and I posted about it on our Facebook page. There was a really severe injury, or potentially severe injury, to a player on Holloway's side, and luckily, I messaged him, one of the coaches there, and he said that he's fine. He's out of hospital now. It was a precautionary thing anyway, but they did take him in and they did tests or whatever on him, and he's okay. So that's good. So that luckily he was a rookie player as well. So this first year player hopefully is going to come back for more on Holloway's side. But yeah, overall, man, I'm really impressed with the Demons. I went there. I must admit, I went there like as a neutral, but I was like, oh, I want Holloway to win this. I like Holloway, but that was about it. So like, I wasn't like upset when Exeter have made a great play and got a sack or caught a pass. I was like, oh, decent play, some good stuff going. They got a couple of really, really decent running backs. So yeah, I think they're a really powerful team. And I suppose that will bring us on later to talking about what we're predicting for the next round, because they're now facing Portsmouth. But yeah, man, like there's just not much weakness in that side. Like they got the linebackers are good, they're solid, the D line's good.
You're making me want to go to Portsmouth, Steve.
Mate, they're a good side, and do you know what? I mean, it beggars the question, like if the Pride weren't here this year, would Exeter be? Well, Exeter, in my opinion, would be a contender to get through to the final. Like they were that good. They were really good. And not taking anything away from Holloway. Holloway were class. They just weren't scoring. Exeter's defense were just like, they got close, they just couldn't do it. But the other thing was Holloway were a lot more were worse disciplined. So they kept picking up different fouls, penalties, lining up offside. Stuff that you just wouldn't expect to see or you don't want to see in a playoff game. Exeter maybe got a couple of penalties, but it wasn't that much. So they were just very effective as a team. Really impressive to watch. So yeah, that was my take on it. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing them play again on Sunday against Portsmouth.
So let's get into one of the big. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest shock of the weekend, and this very well could be. I had it in my head that a particular team from Scotland were going to potentially go all the way. But they ran into Liverpool Raptors. Of course, I'm talking about Edinburgh Napier Knights losing to the Liverpool Raptors. Where is it? 24-8. See, that is one of those things where you look at how impressive the stats were from Edinburgh Napier in the regular season. But then, I can definitely say that now, looking back on it, I think I definitely carried out the Liverpool Raptors. I was so, entranced by the stats that Edinburgh Napier were putting up to then go out in the first round. I didn't think that was a possibility. For example, when I was talking to Lincoln about playoff chances, I specifically said no matter how far you go, you're going to lose to Edinburgh Napier Knights, and that obviously fair play for Edinburgh for their regular season, but Jesus, Liverpool Raptors are scary now. They are scary now because they beat who I thought was the giant of the Div 2 North. They are scary.
I scored that game.
Yeah, very, very scary. And
so number 4 was the maybe that's the quarterback. See, I didn't have this is going back to Exeter. I didn't have a previous understanding of who the QB was. That was just what I heard, that there was their quarterback had gone or wasn't playing, but he's saying that was their quarterback, I assume. He scored the second touchdown, a sneak up the middle. But I wasn't trying to say that they were lying or he was there or wasn't there. I didn't know, but that was the information I got. It was just that I was expecting them to be not as slick on offense as they were. But both defenses played well in that game. Sorry. Anyway, so Tebbs, what that to you was a shocker, was it? That was a stand. That's your stand.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that obviously the people who play for Liverpool Raptors, they don't see it as any sort of surprise. But for me, that was when that came in, I was sick to my stomach about how cold this take was. I was feeling ill. I had to get 4 Lemsips and snort them just to cleanse me of my illness. Right? In terms of games that were surprises for me, that is the biggest one. Obviously,
I think NTU, Edinburgh, and in particular Edinburgh, right? They got shut out. They got 50 burgered.
They did get 50 burgered.
I wasn't expecting. I think I even had them down as that they were the team I backed to win. I think you took NTU and I took Edinburgh. So yeah, but a shocker from both Edinburgh teams, really. Napier and Predators, just didn't. Maybe there's something in the water up there. Maybe
it's like Leicester. One thing I will say, unfortunately, I've got to include, mine and your Lincoln Colonials in this. Fair few shutouts this week in the playoffs. I think that just goes to show maybe there is, grounds for some sort of reshuffling. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think there were 4 shutouts, not including walkovers.
5. 5 because you got OBU and Kent as well. So you got Exeter, Nottingham Trent,
of course,
Sheffield,
that game.
Lincoln, Kent.
Yeah, I suppose that's quite a lot for a playoff. I know it is the first round though, right? And
yes, very much.
We go into it blind. You never know how powerful the leagues are against each other until this point. But I was surprised by Lincoln's shutout loss. I didn't expect them to get beat like that.
No, neither was I. It's a shame they've done well this season. Again, it's like for Lincoln, it's been such a strange season. 3 weeks ago they were the top of the div and being promoted, and now they're out of the playoffs.
Now they're enjoying their Sundays.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's been a very strange season.
Right, I've got the. Should we do the rundown? Should we go through the game? So,
do you not want to talk about Sheffield?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just going to go through the games and wait till we got to the Sheffield game.
Okay, fine.
I didn't mean we were leaving.
All right, Steve.
Yeah. What?
Shouting at me? I'm just trying to live my life.
Shout, you fucking soft. Right. Cameron said, "Until you put those points up with 7th and 8th string O linemen, how have they got that many linemen that they've got 8th string?
That's impressive.
The running back,
mate.
So imagine how wrong you would have been if we were at full health. Well, yeah. Thanks, Cameron. For
mate, imagine.
Fuck you, Cameron.
Mate, imagine having that much depth where you can have 7th and 8th string O linemen, mate.
Yeah,
I have dreams at night of having a 7th and 8th strings. Don't get me wrong.
I don't think that even exists. I've never heard of an 8th string lineman. 8th string. Okay. So that's 8 sets of linemen. There's 5 linemen. That's 40 linemen.
Apparently. I don't know. They could have. They just.
Cameron,
they just
have you got 40 linemen?
They just freed up number 0. That's one more spot.
Or is there? Or is there 8th string lineman like their starting linebacker or something?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask. Is that?
I've dreamed of having 8 linemen.
What, once? Bloody hell.
Oh, 8th best lineman. So yeah, sorry. Okay, gotcha.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so let me just ask. So does that 8th string lineman play both ways, or is he a specific lineman? I don't know why I'm asking that. Like, I'm gonna get a response now to the camera. I think it's interesting.
But one was a running back.
One was a running back lineman. God, that man is living the dream. Unbelievable. So go on, let's get into it. Let's get into the playoffs.
So let's start with Bullet Sterling. So there was a walkover.
Yeah,
I think we've already discussed it, right? But have you got any more thoughts on on that situation?
I would love to know more, because obviously it's not even just there was a walkover loss. It was a walkover.
Yeah.
Nice. It wasn't just a walkover loss. It was a walkover loss, and the head coach resigned. Which
that's the bit that and fair play, right? Their head coach. We did a couple of posts on it because they posted a statement that we posted as well, because it was first of all speculative, but with good inside information. But their coach, fair play to him. He came on and he sort of gave his side of it. I still don't understand it. For me, like the point was made in some of the chat. There was a lot of chat, as you would have seen, right? One of the coaches was trying to defend the head coach, Coach Stevenson, and said, well, the university have pulled funding or not backing us as much moving forward. And then someone came back and said, yeah, but isn't that in direct relation to your performance? Doesn't that, don't universities put resources behind you based on your performances? So if that's the case, if he's underperformed and then just doesn't want to deal with the mess that he's created, I don't like it. I think if he's lost the changing room, as it were, and the guys don't want to play for him and they don't like him, and because the information we got, which was again supported by the comments, was that the players made this decision without the coaches. The players decided not to play, and I don't see why a coach wouldn't be involved in that. And maybe that points to there's something else at play here. I don't understand why a coach would walk away, and then I just don't get it. You get relegated. Why wouldn't the coach be like, right, cool, look, we've got a problem to fix here. Like that's what you'd expect from your players. So why wouldn't you expect that from a coach? Does the coach just want a cushy number, sit there and go, I'll sign loads of imports and we'll win and it'll be great? for me, it doesn't. It's you got to be a coach, not a manager. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe this guy was looking to be more of a manager than a coach. But yeah, I just think it. And I know I'm speculating here because I don't know anything about it, but I can understand. I can sort of understand that there was a decision to pull out of a playoff game. I don't like it, and I especially don't expect it from a Premier League team, especially someone as Sterling. Fair enough, that in itself. But then for this added head coach thing, I just think there's something more to it.
Yeah, but it's going to be.
Do I need to chime in? Yeah, by all means, mate. If you want to, you can come on stream if you want.
There you go. But so go on, let's get into it. Like, there's not much to say. Sterling are out. Sterling are out. They're gone. But Bullets get a lovely week off, which I'm sure that they'll love.
I'm sure they didn't need.
No, it's another week in a gym for old.
What Bullets. I'm quite interested in, right? So let's say, right, and this is a hypothetical. There's 2 games left potentially that the Bullets could play. Let's say they 50-burger shutout, both of those games. Are they the most dominant team ever in Uniball?
Yes, I'd say so. I'd say if they can get through a regular season and a postseason without a single point being scored on them, I feel like the answer's clear in that, to be completely honest.
I'd love to know if there's ever been a team as dominant. Like, has that ever happened at Premier League level of Uniball before?
Well, honestly, but the thing is, we can get into it. I think Leeds Beckett. I think they could be the one to do it.
Aaron just said, let's be real, we want to drive 8 hours each way to get smacked. Yeah, and like I said, I don't like it, but I do understand there's the element of not wanting to play that game, but at the same time, there's also prestige and pride and your fucking team and just going out there and playing football. I don't know, but yeah,
it's gonna be interesting because as you've said before, Bucks don't really fuck around with stuff like this, and to have a
Fursman's he's on the coaching staff at Bullet saying yes.
but Bucks don't mess around with this sort of stuff, and to have a playoff game now be a walkover. It's going to be interesting to see if Bucks take any, punitive measures. Because, if they, let's say it was your theory about them worrying about funding, what's this walkover going to do? It's going to impact it even more. They could very well be facing, a fine, but
Well, no, so they are. They're definitely going to get fined. It's either 300 and 750. From what I can tell, it's £750 that they're going to be fined because they're Prem level. And this is a knockout competition. That's what I get from reading the rules. It's a little bit vague, but yeah. So it looks like they're getting £750 fine.
No idea for Sterling. There you go. No. But to get on to this week's playoff. These weeks we've got corkers, Bullets versus Leeds Beckett Carnegie, and Nottingham Green versus the Nottingham Gold versus the Birmingham Lions. I told you Birmingham were going to win that game. I had a feeling in my soul. I knew it.
What a game that was. So so I was watching. Birmingham was doing fantastic on the stories on Instagram, basically play by play. Someone was there, bang, 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 firing at everything, and I'm fairly sure this is what set up the last score. There was a Birmingham interception, and he was quite a short lad, or comparatively short to the other players around him. Sort of in the hook curl zone and took it. He did get caught. He did get tackled, but the whole sideline were running down and going nuts and congratulating him. I don't know his name. I didn't hear the audio on it or see the name. I think I did see the name, but I didn't click through and look at it. Just saw but what a play! And I'm fairly sure that's what then set the Bulls up to score. Sorry, why do I keep saying the Bulls? Birmingham Lions up to score their game-winning touchdown. So yeah, quite that game was just back and forth. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And yeah, so for you to sit there and goad and say, "Oh, what did I say? What did I tell you? You didn't tell me that. You didn't expect that."
I didn't tell you
There's no way you
that
expected
is true.
that.
Okay, that's true. That's fair. That's fine. Well, I've got a gloat about something, Steve. It's really hot in this house, and I'm wearing a velvet suit jacket. It's not.
And do you want to explain to the audience why you're wearing a velvet suit.
Even to me. Well, because it's playoffs. It's playoffs. You got to dress nice for playoffs. Am I still wearing shorts? Yes, I am. But that doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. That doesn't matter. So are we going to?
Can we go through these other results before we jump into the predictions?
Of course.
So I think this Leeds Beckett Cardiff Cobra score was also a bit of a shocker for me. I didn't expect Leeds to be so dominant. And Cardiff, I think Cardiff scored a garbage time touchdown anyway. So it was just a completely uncompetitive game from all accounts. I just didn't expect that from Leeds Beckett. I don't know. I just didn't expect it from that game. Maybe I didn't expect the Cobras to be so convincingly defeated and Leeds to be so dominant.
Well, the thing is with Leeds Beckett is after they beat Notts Gold, I've really got no. They don't surprise me much anymore unless they win the whole thing, So, but I feel like this week they've definitely got the chance to surprise me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we'll get to that, and then what about Gold versus Pirates? Predictable?
Yeah. Yes, I'd say so. Pirates were definitely in that sort of area of going. And I know it wasn't like particularly close towards the end, but there were some rumblings of going down. Their season hasn't been particularly fantastic. So realistically, a 43-2 score doesn't really, I'm not crying down the phone.
You got loads of people going on about.
We've already spoke about the Destroyers.
Oh, this is the interception from and Eddie had a banging game. Eddie he's the Lions quarterback. He was fucking amazing. So Geordie Kanesh is the guy that got the interception, and it was brilliant. Cheers, Eddie, for letting us know. And this is another one for the Portsmouth game. I think we're just going to keep getting Portsmouth things pop up just because of you. And I heard he threw the pick on the first drive of the game just to spice things up a bit. Right, okay, so let's get to the semi-finals. So the two games, the Bullets versus Beckett. You're saying that you want, like, the Beckett have got a chance to surprise you. They've obviously not met. They haven't played each other. This could be the first team that score against the Bullets this year.
If I'm going to make a prediction based around this game, that is the prediction I'd make. I'd say Bullet,
and that's what tells everyone that we think the Bullets are going to win, right? Like,
yes, I'd say Bullets to win, but Leeds Beckett to score.
Okay, I mean,
I'm not saying score 6, 7, or 3 just to score, or maybe 2. I don't know.
Leeds Beckett are a hell of a team, man. Like,
they really
also,
but it's the Bullets.
Yeah.
It's the Bullets. But then again, I said this about Napier, so who knows? Who knows? Look at Portsmouth. They've mugged me off. This could, like, if Leeds Beckett, make a fool of me, mate, I'm going to be very, very impressed.
Do you know, like, so? Let's say, right, and the situation I described earlier was the whole 50 burger shutout, right? If that's the expectation that I think most people have got watching, or when there's a UE game this season. With that in mind, Leeds Beckett go into this with nothing to lose or nothing to prove.
Not
like, like they've got no pressure on them in this game. Only the pressure they put on themselves. So, you'd like to think that might loosen them up a little bit and might play into their favour as well. But yeah, I don't know if that is enough to overturn.
I completely agree, because like if you look at Leeds Beckett's season, like they.
What's going on now?
No, if you look at Leeds Beckett's season, they managed to pull off a victory over Nottingham Gold.
Yeah,
and like I fully agree. Like they've got nothing to lose. They've had a hell of a season, but. Again, it's the Bullets. I think Leeds Beckett will score.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Next one. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say if they do, I'll be very happy. I don't expect to see a 0 when we get the scores in next week. Okay. So what? Nottingham, Birmingham. God, this is a difficult one.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that this is the game that I've chosen to go to this weekend because I haven't got a clue. Because
I want to push you for not a score, but just a win prediction.
Okay.
Who's going to win that game?
So I think, you know what? As much as I know I'm going to Nottingham, and I'll try to wear some clothes that make me inconspicuous, not a black velvet suit. I didn't wear that to Portsmouth, but anyway, I think Birmingham Lions might pull this off.
Okay, I'll go Nottingham Gold. I think but I can see what you're saying. This one is going to be a tight game. Especially with the first round game being so tight. It just makes me think that the class difference between Gold and Saints is enough for Gold to beat Birmingham. That's my logic.
Yeah, that's completely fair. But then I feel like the loss that Gold had suffered earlier in the season to Leeds Beckett has shown that they're not the Bullets. They're not
bulletproof.
They're not untouchable. And I think Birmingham's problem is that the Bullets are in their division. And I think that they've now got out of they're now playing people that they haven't played. And I think this is the time. This is the time for the Birmingham Lions.
Okay. Speaking of your attire, I have said while we're talking about the Portsmouth game, what was that hoodie, Tebbs?
Hey mate, I'm trying to
Did you have some stupid colour on or something?
Oh, bright pink.
Yeah, trying to see Tebbs. Tebbs don't want to be inconspicuous. He's out with a cowboy hat. He turned up with hot pants and some cowboy boots. He likes to stand out.
As I said a few weeks ago, I've got no personality, so I have to dress funny. Yeah. Make up for my lack of personality, which is why I'm wearing a black velvet suit in this house, and it's fucking roasting.
All right, let's go. Let's go to let's go through the first round scores. I honestly thought Manchester were going to beat. I predicted Newcastle to beat Manchester. Hold on, let me just zoom in on that so people can see it a bit better. I predicted Newcastle to beat Manchester, but I did say Manchester. They could just play awesome all of a sudden, right? They're capable, and they were leading. They went ahead in that game, and it wasn't looking too good for Newcastle at one point. But yeah, they ended up. Newcastle did end up getting the win.
14-12. You can't really.
It doesn't fill me with confidence though. Newcastle's chances against NTU, because last week prior to this game, or this result, I was like, oh, Newcastle for me are going to be finalists, and I've lost that confidence in them just with that one result.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Even though
completely fair. I feel like Nottingham Trent, they've got to be riding high after a 54 defeat of Edinburgh obviously in the playoffs. I think it's going to be as low scoring as.
Sorry, Kieran's right. You can't go and watch them this weekend in the Prem because there's no this weekend in the Prem.
No, that means I'm going to have to go to Portsmouth.
It's different.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to drive. Oh,
sorry, mate. You'll be safe.
They promised me a bacon sandwich.
I'm a local, if I'm coming. Mate. I know everyone down there. I'm a face. Right.
I'm a face.
I'm a face.
Oh, right. All right. Well, I guess I'm not going to Nottingham then. Oh, great. I'm happy that someone's alerted me to that fact on Monday as opposed to on Sunday morning.
Kieran's doing fantastic. He's the guy that sent me all of the regulations in a message, and he's also saved you a trip to Nottingham.
Oh yeah. Again, I'm happy that I just haven't, been forced to make a trip.
He's our favourite ever viewer. He's looking after us. Anyway, but what's your take on Newcastle Manchester?
Newcastle Manchester. I feel like your prediction, it obviously rang true. Manchester stuck in there. 14-12. I sort of agree with your prognosis on the loss of faith in Newcastle. So
yeah, the thing is, we don't know, right? We all we're going off of is numbers on a screen, and on the game day, we get to see how the scores come up if we get access to them. We don't know who had a good day, who had a bad day. We don't know if Newcastle had a full strength squad. We don't know if there were bad referee calls or anything. Like, we just, so it's a tough. These are tough to call, but I just think that my confidence is sort of wobbled a little bit when it comes to the Raiders. That's what I'd say. I don't think they're a bad squad. I think they're still tasty. But I just I don't have the confidence that I had prior to this weekend. Elliot's popped up and said it was a really good game. Manchester hadn't lost on field all season, and it was easy to see why. Okay, cool. Over to your beloved NTU versus Edinburgh.
Yeah, so obviously, like the scoreline is massive, and to have that momentum going into Newcastle, who very well, obviously they lack. They've just said they lack an X factor. Now, do Nottingham Trent have that? Very well could be. I think it's going to be, despite the scoreline with Newcastle. Sorry, NTU versus Edinburgh. I think the game will be close, but So again, something's telling me here. Something's telling me to go for Nottingham Trent.
You love it, don't you? You love that. You love that little the mild underdog, I would say.
Mate, I've got
underdog's probably a bit of a strong word. Just that they're not the favourite, I would say. If you were to put money on these, if you saw some odds, they'd both probably be odds on.
Well, you say that. You say that, like, let's move on to the next game, right? So Loughborough versus Sheffield Hallam. I'd say those teams are fairly. I'd say they're fairly even. Right. I wouldn't say I could pick one, but I'm going to go for Loughborough.
Oh, are we doing those predictions now? Are we? Okay,
are
right. Because I wanted to talk about these. I wanted to talk about the games.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Sheffield.
Oh, go on. Well, let's right. So actually, because I'm going to take Newcastle here again.
Okay.
I know. I stand for that to be another clip that fucking someone then tweets us or Instagrams us, but I'm cool with that.
Just remember, if you're gonna put a clip on saying that we thought your team would lose, just remember to tag at Gridiron Hub. Just remember to tag it.
We'll always share them. Like we like. I love all the banter and the community side of it. The bit that I don't like is when people get insulting and start chatting shit. Because I actually banned someone this weekend because he went on Instagram, he went on Facebook and was like, something like saying that we've got our tagline that says we're independent and unbiased, and his argument was that because we picked a team to win and the other team won, that we're not unbiased. And I was just like, just fuck off, But yeah, no, I'm all good with like people taking the piss out of us and having a good laugh. It's all good. But yeah, as soon as
look at the state of me.
They can go.
Look at the state of me. It's easy to take the piss out of it. Honestly, if I wasn't me, I'd take the fucking piss out of me as well.
What I think happens is, right, I think the clubs, like the coaches and the captains or whatever, like, they see us say, one of us say one team, one of us say another, or both of us say a team, and they want to leverage that, right? So they want to create a little bit of spotlight, saying, "Oh, this is what." I was going to say the experts. I don't want to come across
the media.
Like
the media.
Yeah, the media. Yeah, this is what is being said.
the media.
And sort of using it to motivate. And I think that makes sense. But then what I think happens is, and this definitely happens, because I actually messaged one of the players that said something, tried to sort of talk shit about us, where you'd picked one team and I'd picked the other. And I was like, well, did you watch the live stream? Because he messaged us saying, like, I don't know, something nonsensical. And I was like, did you actually watch the live stream? Because we were quite balanced about what we said. It was actually quite fair. We just so happened to pick different teams. I was like, but we said it could go either way. Both of us said that. Like, and he went, do you know what? I didn't. I was like, right. So what's happening is people are hearing like second, third hand. They're watching, a clip out of context where we say like, "Oh, NTU will win or Loughborough will lose," but they're missing out the 2 minutes prior where we talked about everything that we knew about it and just taking that one soundbite. And
basically teams. If you're gonna use us, be like Portsmouth. Be like Portsmouth.
Have a laugh with us. Yeah.
It's really funny.
People are always quick to criticise after the game. Don't see anybody else making predictions before games publicly. So until they, I mean, that's a good point, Chris. People don't tend to say stuff publicly, and we don't like. That's not what we are. Like we're not a prediction outlet. Like, but we don't mind. We love talking about the game. We love the game, right?
It's fun. It's like
and it's just a little bit of excitement.
Who would we be if we were talking about Uniball this much? And
there we go.
Yes, yes. I mean, and you smashed them. So
mate, you did. And do you know what? I think we both went against the Raptors, didn't we? I think we both went Napier.
And you've beaten them. And I don't know what the Div 2 North's going to look like. I mean,
yeah.
And that was my division, my favourite division.
I think the thing is like a prediction for a loss for you is that, just because we predicted someone to win, it doesn't mean we want you to lose. We just think you're not going to win that game. And it doesn't mean we fucking hate you and think you're terrible and you're not a bad person. And, like it's not personal. And maybe that's
it's not a personal attack.
But it's hard not to take it personally when you guys, you represent a college.
I can imagine so.
You're the one that's on the field, and so I get the passion because I'm a passionate player.
Actually, you know what, Steve? As an example of this, when the Breens were doing their senior ball stuff, they were talking a lot about Ouse Valley Eagles, and I wasn't very happy about it. And I work for the same company.
Like if someone's so. I'm most likely going to play for the Thrashers this season, right? I was chatting to the coach this weekend, right? So about a month's time, I should be signing for them and playing for them, right? Because I just had a new baby, it's sort of bad timing. But anyway, if the Breens predicted the Thrashers to lose a game, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, no,
change anything about how I approach the game. I want to go and fucking win every game.
It wasn't just a loss. They said Ouse Valley Eagles should fold. That's what annoyed me. It wasn't just a loss. It was you should fold. It was like,
there's a bit more cutting. I get that. Fursman's just said, throwback to 2016-17 where Frankie Pankhurst used to be involved in DC's anonymous expert picks whilst coaching and pick UE to lose every week to keep coaches love it. That's why I think the Portsmouth coaches love you, and the Raptors coaches are probably well. We'll see. Let's we'll get to the Raptors prediction for this week in a bit. But that's hilarious, Fezman. Thanks for sharing.
That's very funny.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to talk about this game because this was a game we spent a bit of time on last week where you'd gone to the game and it was a tale of two halves.
Yes, very much so. Yes,
and I said I think a similar. Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it was like I was, not particularly surprised with the result, but I thought it was going to be sort of as close.
Fine, he did it at Farnham as well.
As that regular season game, and 15-6. I feel like despite that not being a particularly high score, comparatively to the regular season game, that's a mile. Because I had Warwick to win. So I'm not surprised that Loughborough won. But yeah, I really thought that game would emulate more of the regular season. But I guess if they've learned from the regular season games, to then go into a playoff game and play someone you've already played twice, I guess that learning experience just makes the games easier to plan. Like for example, like Portsmouth Imperial, where the coaches said, "I've never seen that double pass before." And there might have been a game that didn't have footage. Who knows? And they may have ran it. But to have someone that you've played against and definitely have footage on, to then go to a playoff game, I think it's easy to plan. Fair enough to Loughborough. There you go.
Okay, so the one that pretty much everyone's waiting for us to talk about.
I'm going to grab a drink quickly before you talk through Sheffield.
What shall I? I'm going to talk about IFAF yards. No, I'm not.
No IFAF yards.
Actually, I'll tell you a little quick story. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I was quite concerned that one of my eyes is a little bit more shut than the other. I took my kid bowling today, my little 3-year-old, and he likes to play in the arcade games. So once we've done bowling, we're playing the arcade games. There's this one that you throw balls to knock down these clown heads. He calls them Joker heads. He thinks they look like the Joker. And I put the money in, and I was throwing the balls with him, and I just was like, I don't know, it was like I was dyspraxic. I just couldn't coordinate myself or hit any of them. I got like 2 down, and then I was like getting annoyed, so I picked up a ball and I like lobbed it as hard as I could, and it's the thing is like made for one person to stand in front of. Obviously, I stood with my little boy, so I stood to the right a little bit. I fucking lobbed this ball. It hit. There's a post right here, which had a net on it. It hit the post and smacked me in the fucking face. And my eye was watering, and it closed. So I've given myself a black eye, but it's not there yet. So I just thought I'd share that story while Tebbs was gone. Anyway, Sheffield or so I swear you two waffle more than me. Hey, we don't deny it either, Raphael. We do waffle a lot, mate. Yeah, and I in my like work life, I work so well. Part of my job is training people, and you've got to learn to waffle there as well, so I can just do it forever. Anyway, so Sheffield or the Sheffield Derby or they like to call it the Iron Bowl, but I think it's going to start being called the Flag Bowl after what happened this weekend. So this was the third time because obviously Sheffield Derby or Varsity as they like to call it for some reason, or like in the UK we use Varsity rather than bowl game or derby, which I don't understand, but I understand it more than I understand IFAF having a yard that's not a yard.
No, stop talking about the IFAF yard.
Anyway, so Hallam had already won twice, quite convincingly in the season. The Steel Bowl, is that it? Yeah, no, it's the Flag Bowl, right? And the reason it's going to be called the Flag Bowl is because, so despite losing quite convincingly twice in the season, when it came to their playoff game, the Sheffield Sabres, who were the away team, decided to, and I don't exactly know where on the field, but I did get sent a picture of it, but I couldn't find where I got it once I got sent it. They planted a flag, a Sheffield Sabres flag, in the middle of the pitch for Hallam, on Hallam's pitch, which is just massive, like, disrespect, shithousery. Oh, right. So Alex has said centre circle, centre of the field. God, everyone wanted. Thank you for the corrections. So anyway, so this flag was whacked in the centre of the field, and I saw that on the game day because I'm fairly sure that Sheffield posted about it and tagged us in it, and I didn't realise it was the centre of the field, so I didn't even share it because I thought, why am I going to share a flag? I just thought it was a flag whacked in the sideline, and even then I thought, well, that's a bit daft putting a flag up. But anyway, if I'd have realised the significance of it, I would have shared it sooner, but I didn't share it at all. Then. And I don't know, so someone's going to be able to sort of correct because it's not clear from the footage that we were sent. But and what I mean is, I don't know if this happened before or after the game. It seems like from some of the comments, it might have been before the game. One of the Hallam players picked up the flag and was like waving it around, like taking a piss. And I think it was like Hallam's coach pulled it off of him, and then. Player, like he then tried to sort of like jog away, and then he got pushed in the back, and then there was a little bit of a scuffle. It was after the game. Okay, thanks, Mick. I wasn't sure, so it was actually after the game. But yeah, just absolute shithousery, which like my view on it is like I think the Sabres were lucky to get away with. Well, from what I've seen on which is very limited, what we've seen on that footage, I think the Sabres are lucky to get away with what they did. Even putting a flag up, and then just a little bit of pushing and shoving and getting a couple of their players pushed over. Yeah, that was like massive disrespect, and I was really surprised by it. Someone has said after the handshakes, one of our players picked it up while we celebrated a Sabres coach pulled. Yeah, that's what I thought. Classic BUAFL. Who saw the epic backflip by them? It wasn't a backflip. Brunel, he did a forward flip onto the floor. He couldn't even land it, right?
No.
But it was hilarious.
It was good.
So yeah. Tebbs, what are your thoughts on the whole thing? who looks the worst, or do they both just look like idiots?
I mean, no one looks good from it. But again, I'm not particularly surprised. But the thing is, it's something that you also see in, college ball in the States. People. No, iPhone. It's something that people do in the States. Someone disrespects, their ground. They then get really aggressive about it. Like you even look at the NFL, you see like the Ravens and the Titans. When the Titans came out and did their sort of pre-game hype up on the Ravens logo, or even Terrell Owens, doing the doing arms out pose in the middle of the Cowboys thing.
Stuff, yeah.
Stuff like that, irritates players. So I'm not particularly surprised it happened. I don't think anyone looks good, but
So yeah, this is the other point. Alex said Hallam are going to play. They're going to play again. There's going to be a flag bowl in their varsity fixture. So I reckon that's going to be really tasty now. I think it's going to, or it could be the opposite.
Away Sheffield.
It could be completely diffused because the student unions have got involved or whatever. It's not like we're going to burn their flag. We just took it to celebrate since they can't. Quality. There was another comment at the top here that I just wanted to go back to. I did pop it up. Matt said, now that it's final 8 teams, who are your predictions? Yeah, we'll get to that, Matt, once we've gone down through the rest of the fixtures predictions. We'll go back to it. Right. So I think quite predictably, Hallam beat Sheffield. I don't think there's any sort of surprises there. It was just the bit of nonsense that the little bit of trimmings that came with it that were quite funny. Sabres are going to turn up with swords for the varsity match. So yeah. Anyway, so Loughborough. So let's get to the actual the game that this has been set up. Loughborough Uni versus Sheffield Hallam. What's your take on this one?
It seems to me that Sheffield Hallam, they're just, they're sort of a team that sort of just rams it down your throat. Well, I think after watching Loughborough, they're much more of a, gritty team who just win sort of by any means necessary, and they just manage to pull it out. However, with that, Sheffield Hallam have been very, very convincing all season long, and it's a very tough game. But I'm gonna go with Sheffield.
So I think that despite the potential injuries picked up in that post-game scuffle, I'm going Sheffield as well. I think Sheffield will win this one. And my confidence has waned for Loughborough at home after they got beat by NTU a couple of weeks ago. That's sort of what I'm basing it off of. I completely agree with you. It's like the powerhouse mentality of Hallam. I think they will overpower Loughborough. Okay, so let's go down here. Someone asked a QMBL question. I said I would get to it earlier. Let me go back to it. Do you want to talk about that walkover just while I find it here?
Yeah, it basically, QMBL were part of, I believe it was the South. It was either the South or Southwest Division, which was, QMBL, Brunel, and Imperial all at the top. And I thought it was a great division. They all sort of traded wins,
They were Southeastern.
Southeastern, perfect, thank you. Who trade great wins, and then for QMBL to sort of get to the playoffs, it's going to be, I imagine, the same level of punishment as Sterling. They forfeit.
So at Div 1, the fine's still there, but it's a lower amount.
Yeah. So I think that's all it'll be. I think it'll be a fine. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're going to get sent down. No, I think it's going to be a fine. It's a shame, but there you go.
Raphael said he's saying that's a lot for wins. Yeah, I think everyone's just thinking that we're firing up the other team by saying they're going to lose. No, we're not, mate. But well said. Mick said the only injury was this coach getting punched twice.
Oh, bloody hell! I can't wait to see the Baffer report on that. Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Well, if that's if they were still there, who knows? They probably were. Okay, so yeah, so I think they're headed for a fine. I don't like it. I don't like any forfeits in play. I don't like any forfeits anyway, but it does happen, and I can understand why they would forfeit. You don't see forfeits against shit teams, do you now? Like that's that's something that maybe should be pointed out. But anyway, so SGS are through. Brunel, Hertfordshire. I think this was a massive win for Brunel.
Yeah,
beating like one of the old enemy, because over the years, comparatively, Hertfordshire have sort of had more success than Brunel, right? I think they more recently have won a Uniball championship or whatever they call it, and I think everyone sort of was expecting Hertfordshire to sort of jump straight back up into Div 1. Into the Prem. So yeah, this was a huge game, huge win for Brunel, and you saw it from their celebrations. Like as someone's already pointed out, not only did you see their sideline celebrations and everything in their huddles, but then you also saw the head coach strutting over, doing a flip, and then everyone jumping on him, which was awesome. We shared that a few times on our Instagram account. But yeah, like fantastic win for them. Seat drop. Burner season, yeah. So that's my thoughts on that game. I think Brunel did really well. Hertfordshire have taken a couple of losses this season. I think they've had a couple of losses where we didn't expect them to. So yeah, maybe it's not a surprise that they tap it, but it's certainly a significant win for Brunel.
And I think all of this is wonderful. And I think all of this is wonderful. And obviously we've got some burners probably watching now.
Yeah, it seems a few of them. Yeah, the numbers will all drop off now as we get down through the different leagues.
Yeah.
We'll just be left with those that care about field markings and IFAF yards.
No, well, so no one, or just you.
Yeah, you'll leave. It'll just be me.
So obviously they've now got SGS Pride. Yeah, I don't think. Would you want us to predict that? I'm sorry, Bruno.
I predict an SGS. SGS for me. So to answer the question earlier, I believe SGS are going to be promoted into the Premier South. So I think they're gonna beat Brunel, Exeter, or Portsmouth, whoever they face.
Why'd you put Exeter first? What's wrong with you? What?
I went down this way. I just went down like a reverse L shape.
They'll be coming for you next, Steve. Bloody hell.
Good luck to them. I'm hard as nails, so good luck. Yeah, just me and Stu. There's no malice, nothing in this for me other than I just believe SGS are a class apart from everyone else in Div 1 in total, not just the South. I think the South have been a bit stitched up this year because, it's basically like it's a bit of a write-off of the year. The Western 1 I've got two teams getting relegated because of it as well, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth. So yeah, but it was probably the best way for it to be handled. So yeah, I almost see it as like foregone.
You say that, Steve, but who knows? SGS
Pride, I would love it. I would love the Burners to get a win.
Imagine the seat.
Like just for a great underdog story, right?
It almost makes me want to go.
Good. I'd love to
do it. Honestly, if
yeah, that's basically how it works, Kieran. Although we do split teams, but everyone just focuses on the one of us that got it wrong. So yeah, backflip loading. Mate, if the Burners, and sorry, I don't know the head coach's name, but if the Burners win that, I expect like a double backflip from their head coach into like a face plant. It'd just be unreal. Yeah, I would love it if we beat them. love it. Oh yeah, I would love to see that win.
Yeah, but
Seb, you're the head coach.
Oh,
cool.
very nice.
Cool.
But no,
Portsmouth v Pride.
Yes. Okay, I'll put it to this: if it's Portsmouth v Pride, not only will I go down, I will get a hotel down.
Well, you'll bring a hotel with you.
Yeah. And by that I mean my car, and I'll sleep in my car like a real
it's not,
human being.
Bristol. I'm just like by Reading on the M4, so it's not too bad for me to get to SGS.
Is it not? Oh, as long as it's okay for you, Steve. I've just checked.
I don't care about you.
No, I know you don't. I just checked because obviously now that Birmingham is next week, unbelievable stuff. I just checked 141 miles. Unbelievable.
I don't know what it is for me. 6, 7, something like that.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, So I believe SGS Pride are going to win this game.
Yeah.
And if Brunel win, it would be absolutely amazing. That's how positively. I think that would be really cool, but I just can't see it happening.
No,
that's how I see that game.
So main event of Div 1. Portsmouth Destroyers versus the Exeter Demons. Portsmouth beating Imperial. Royal Holloway losing to Exeter. A game that apparently
you're going to back Portsmouth again. Oh no. Your thing is to go for the other team, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So, congratulations, Exeter Demons. We said earlier. Someone said earlier. Oh, do you just back the team for motivation? Okay, normally we don't. In this case, I've got no reason to buck the trend here. So
Exeter, it's a winning formula. They're going to love it.
I'm not biased. It's just funny. There you go.
So interesting. So I've got a different reason to back a team here in this game. Having seen the Exeter Demons play and win yesterday, my head says Exeter, but I'm a Pompey boy. I'm from Portsmouth. I always want Portsmouth to do well. And my heart is with Portsmouth, so I'm going to back Portsmouth. Again, as I did yesterday.
Unbelievable. And watch this. I'm going to get down there. They're going to cast me off to the Exeter sideline. They won't let me stand on their side.
I'll do that.
They'll make me stand because I stand on their sideline. I mean, no, Chris, over there. But again, I promised a bacon sandwich, and if I'm driving 141 miles, I want it. Maybe I have. Maybe I'll go Football America. Maybe I'll get a Portsmouth Destroyer shirt. Who knows?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what SGS v Exeter semi-final. We'll see. Neil.
It's more so like I guess in terms of an Exeter Portsmouth, an Exeter SGS semi-final is a game that is not any level of bias. I don't really want to see it, just because. Don't get me wrong, Exeter did hold SGS to 30 points. I still don't think. I don't think Exeter can beat SGS, but there's something about when it comes to like reporting sports, it's always about trying to the narratives sort of drive people's interest, and having Portsmouth going against SGS, I just think that's a lot more interesting.
Oh mate, it'll be so good. So good.
Because that one is like there won't be any hesitation. I will go to Bristol and I will watch that game. I can't not. So
why SGS are not a Burners Exeter final? Have some faith.
Because
we already said it. We think the Burners are going to lose.
Again, it's not so much that we hate the Burners. It's SGS pride.
SGS are a cheat code this year.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's like if it was someone else, if it was anyone else who wasn't SGS pride, then that's fine. But it's SGS pride.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to chip in with, but it's gone, which isn't too bad. Guys, the Destroyers guys watching the game, where do you play? Is it First Lane? I think it's First Lane that you play your games. I just want to double check because I saw that you were training at Priory but I don't think you play your games there. So yeah, let me know.
Someone put it in the chat so I can accurately measure how many miles I've got to drive.
Well, just go Portsmouth. It's fine. He's lying. Last week he said Hearts, Canes over Burners.
Did I? I don't remember. Oh, well, yeah.
You can pretty much guarantee that everyone in the chat will know exactly what we've said.
Well, here's the thing: is that I really liked the Burners Imperial QMBL division. There you go. That's all I'm going to say. And I felt like the Hearts coming down from Prem and being all right. Yeah.
Listen for the I'll just stand in the middle of Portsmouth on the common. I'll just stand there and just listen for the pre-game chant, jump in my motor, get a shit parking, catch the second quarter onwards.
I'll just do this to someone and they'll be like, it's over there.
Yeah. Which way is the
It'll be like one of those oil things. You can just hear a hum when you point it in the right direction.
It'll be like on the Goonies. So you do that. Oh, you probably don't know the Goonies, but this is really funny. You do that and it lines up. Don't worry. Go and stick your 1990 whatever it is birthday out your ass.
It's taken 10 minutes off my journey. No, unbelievable.
Yeah, Fairs Lane's just right down the Eastern Road. It's quite easy to get to. You see, as you drive into Portsmouth, you'll see this little tower on the left. That's where Fairs Lane is. That's where the campus is. We've got to sort of go around the houses.
They're going to put my car in the fucking sea. I can feel it coming. I'll be stuck in Portsmouth.
That's all right. Right, let's get to. We haven't gone into these predictions yet, have we?
No, we've only done Prem and Div 1.
So let's look at Div 2 North. What did you make of this game? MMU Rams. I think that result was pretty much bang on with what we were expecting, right?
Yeah, I wasn't particularly UClan were very, very dominant at the start of the regular season, and they had one loss. I think that one loss catapulted them from first to third or fourth or something mad like that, and they've just not sort of been able to harness what they had at the start. So MMU winning, not particularly surprising.
We've already discussed Napier, Liverpool, and it's already popped up in the chat that we were the motivation behind that, which is really, really flattering for us. But and then right, so let's get down to we briefly have. I know we've already discussed Glasgow Colonials. I was surprised by the scoreline. Were you? Did you think Lincoln were good for at least a couple of scores?
Yes, I did. 27-0. Yeah, I wasn't particularly happy with it. It was one of those things where because we had people there, scores were coming in to me. I was hoping for a win, but then after it got past a certain point, I was hoping for one score. Again, I'm very impressed with the Lincoln team. Obviously, they've not made playoffs in a long time. They've done it this year. They should be happy with that. I hope that they can find some solace in that. But at the end of the day, Glasgow move on. Now, the game which is very surprising is Staffordshire Nottingham Green. So obviously, Nottingham Green beat Staffordshire in the last week of the regular season. For both. Yes, beat them, and then Staffordshire, come back in the playoffs and win it. That result, I'm not surprised about. Staffordshire, I didn't think Staffordshire were going to take that loss lying down, and they haven't. And and they get a journey up to Glasgow to for their troubles.
I did think it was going to go Staffordshire's way. I actually thought it was closer than I was expecting it to be, despite the shutout win a couple of weeks prior. And I was wobbled a bit by it being played in Nottingham's ground instead of Staffordshire's. I did think, maybe that'll have an impact. But I was still certain. I was not certain. I was still confident that Staffordshire would win. So yeah, that was a little bit closer than I was expecting, but still roughly around the same sort of result. Okay, so let's go on to these semis. We've lost a few viewers. We should have started with Div 2. No one cares. Right. MMU versus Liverpool. Are we going to motivate Liverpool? Or are we going to motivate MMU?
I just can't get over the momentum boost that it must be to beat Edinburgh Napier Knights, and I think that's a good enough reason for me to pick Liverpool. You know, all nonsense aside, apart from Portsmouth, I'm not doing any sort of meme picks.
That's Will just clarifying why the game was moved to Nottingham. So yeah, cheers for that, Will. Plus, you then got it live stream, which was cool.
Yeah.
I was going to start game being played on a car park of a pitch or somewhere else.
No, it's interesting because Glasgow obviously had to change their pitch for the Colonials game, and Staffordshire had to. Yes,
it probably is going to be in Edinburgh. We don't know. I haven't even checked Bucks play. I'm trying to stay away from Bucks play. I was glued to it for about a week.
So in terms of Liverpool, Manchester Metropolitan, again, I don't think that you can beat Edinburgh Napier Knights and not be now the favourite. I think.
Okay.
So for that, I think it's going to be Liverpool Raptors.
So I'm going to go for MMU Eagles because I think Liverpool Raptors are fucking shit. Right.
See, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we started at 9. It's after Watershed. We can fucking wear as much as we like.
There's your motivation, boys. Right.
Put that on the wall.
Stick that on your notice board. Right. And then we've got there we go. Someone's already confirmed. Thanks, Fergus.
Thank you.
So the stat will be played in Edinburgh. Okay. So who are you taking for that game for the win there?
I think Staffordshire are a good side. Don't get me wrong, but I think when they're going up a side of that's had the season that Glasgow's had, obviously undefeated, not as impressive as Edinburgh's, no points allowed. But even with their game against DMU earlier in the season, when they go up against a team that's really good, I'm hoping they can put some more points on the board than 6. But for that, I've got Glasgow.
I've got Glasgow. I think. Looking at the Colonials versus Staffordshire, like obviously they're from the same division, and the Colonials beat Staffordshire, right?
No, the Staffordshire beat. The only loss, Steve, was against Staffordshire.
And what was the scoreline there, Tebbs?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I believe it was relative. I think Staffordshire won by 2 scores. I don't know the full scoreline, but I believe they won by 2 scores.
Yeah, I'm going to go Glasgow, but I don't think Staffordshire are right off on this one. I think I think they're going to be competitive in this game. Yeah. Okay, next one or next lot.
Well, obviously, we can't do much with the first one. I'm going to go with Oxford Lancers beat Greenwich, and then I'm going to go with Oxford beat KCL. There you go, double header for her.
Oh, okay. We're not going to even discuss KCL Brighton result.
Yeah, if you want to.
I was surprised. I thought Brighton would were good for more.
Yeah, so did I.
I think I'm really impressed by KCL's dominance. I'm going to go the opposite, pretty much the complete opposite to you. I'm going to say Greenwich Mariners beat Oxford, and I'm going to say KCL then beat Greenwich.
You love Greenwich Mariners. You love them.
I do like the Greenwich Mariners. So yeah, the Raptors MMU game. Last time they played, the Raptors had lost 2 QBs by halftime. They're both healthy now. Well, Aaron, that doesn't matter because, as I said before, the Liverpool Raptors are absolute dog shit. So, right. What do you make of this one? 9-0.
So with that, because I'm friends with the DC. So this is what he gave me. Lost 9-0. D shut them out. Field goal and a pick 6. Apparently, the D only allowed 2 first downs. That is what the DC for OBU says to me. Again, I'm surprised, but it was sort of. It's just one of those. You shouldn't. It's one of those things where I've like Kent Falcons already don't like me. I feel like Oxford Brooks beat themselves here, especially with what I'm getting from DC Rob Smith.
No, yeah, well, you're DC. Okay, the DC saying that, and I know he's your mate, and I do see him comment on stuff. But equally, surely the Kent Falcons defense were just as dominant against the Panthers offense, right? Like I don't know how many first downs or whatever.
But then
so the game does come down to special teams, and there you go. You know, like I don't know, like it just. That's
my take on it. You know, the information I've been given. You know, I think okay, good job for Kent for winning. You know, after Oxford Brookes lost to Oxford, my sort of faith in them went down considerably. But yeah, congratulations, Kent. There you go.
All right, Bournemouth, very dominant performance over UE. Convincingly beat them. That was anomalous, really. That was a tough one. Like, not hard. You couldn't tell what was going to happen in that game because obviously there was no two different leagues, etc. But Bournemouth have been class all year.
Yes.
So let's go into this game here. Who do you think is going to get the win here?
Bournemouth.
I'm going Bournemouth as well because I just think they're a much stronger side, and obviously I'm backing my head coach. Coach Rains. So I'm going Bournemouth here as well.
That's it.
So one question we were asked that we didn't cover off was someone asking who do we think is getting promoted. I already said I think SGS Pride are getting promoted into the Prem South. Who do you think is the North team that are getting promoted, i.e. the finalist? Who's getting to the final?
Well, I feel like last week it was a lot more sort of clear that it would be Newcastle Raiders. Obviously, their performance against Manchester is sort of
sorry. Someone's just pointed out that they're in the same. Are they in the same league? Are they both Southwest? Yeah, of course they are. Yeah, sorry, Casper. Thanks for correcting me. I don't know why I said that. Sorry, it's just sorry. I know I was cut you off there, but I thought did they even play each other in the season then? I don't think they did.
Let me have a look.
Okay. I honestly thought they were just coming up against each other for the first time. We had nothing to go on in that game.
But yeah, but it's back to what I was saying while I look up this. Well, Newcastle.
Oh yeah, they did beat you one. Thanks, Becky. Cool. So you beat them twice.
There you go. I think last week, when this was asked, I think it would have been very evident that it was Newcastle. I feel like after the performance against Manchester, very well could be thrown into sort of disarray, that particular take. I feel like it's if it comes down to Newcastle versus Loughborough. Oh God, I don't know.
It's so close, isn't it? Any one of those four teams. I'm gonna stick to my guns and say Newcastle Raiders to get promoted. But yeah, I can see a case for any four of those teams getting through to that final.
So if you're gonna push me, Sheffield Hallam.
Okay, so yeah. Neil, that's what I've said is an SGS and NTU final, but Tebbs has said SGS and Sheffield Hallam.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll probably change that. Excuse me. We'll probably change that in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, well probably. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we're here to just talk shit, and people seem to like to get annoyed at us.
That's fine.
It's working out for us at the moment.
I bet you somewhere in one of these many Uniball teams, there's a picture of us on like a chalk thing, and they just got darts throwing it at us.
Give a shout out to the fact that Tebbs dog shit internet has held up today. What's your call on winners in all of the playoffs? Okay, let's go and have a look.
Do you want to know why that is? Because I've moved close to the router. There you go. Congratulations.
Aren't you on your phone?
Yeah. Oh no, my laptop didn't work.
Yeah. Oh shit! Sorry, I just put a picture. Oh no, you guys didn't see it. Hold on, I'm just going to get up. I'm just going to bring that back up again. So, winners of the. Who do you think's winning this final? I think
Bullets.
Okay, cool. We're both cool there. Who's winning this final?
SGS.
Yeah, I think so. Who's winning this final?
Bournemouth.
Yep, I'm going Bournemouth. And who's winning this final?
Liverpool Raptors.
They're going to be the failed semi-finalists, and the mighty MMU are going to win that one. And that's it. Cool. Right. Did we have anything else to go through?
Gosh, I don't think so.
I've got some bits written down, but I'm not sure.
Well, do you want to go? Well, it depends. It's an hour 45 in. Do you want to discuss the NFL?
Let's quickly talk about that. Go on. You're better poised to talk about it than I am. I just get sent the stuff from NFL media and then I post it and that's it. Like I don't even read it.
doesn't matter.
I do know the gist of it.
Still means that people like me get to meet Tua Tagovailoa. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. You're the man. You're the one that gets the passes. I don't care.
He's really handsome, by the way, guys. Unbelievable stuff. So basically, what it is they've announced who's going to be playing, or only one team for the stadium. So Arizona Cardinals going to be playing in Mexico City. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be playing in Germany, and then over here the Jags, obviously, and the Saints. And for the first time ever, the Green Bay Packers are going to be coming to England. I believe it's the Jags are going to be in Wembley. Saints.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
What's that?
The Jags are going to be in Wembley.
Yeah, I'm not.
So, go on. How do you view that? Because my understanding was that the NFL put a load of money into Spurs ground being properly developed so that it was the NFL stadium, location, whatever in the UK. And then after 1 year? Was it 1 year that they did no Wembley games? You've now got the Jags that have made this agreement with Wembley to play at Wembley.
I feel like it's because they sort of want the prestige that goes along with playing in Wembley, and they want to give that to the team that has sort of been designated as England's team. So right. That's why I think the Jags are playing in Wembley.
So I think there's a couple of bits that play into it. One is that bear in mind, I've never gone to any of the NFL games in the UK, right? So I'm only ever going off of what people say. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to go to them. I'll send you. You can be the media person, and you can ask all the questions. And you did it. You had it. Which game did you go to? 2 games or 1 game?
No, I went to the Dolphins press and practice, but because it was my first Dolphins game, I elected not to be the media person for that, so I instead got really drunk.
Oh, right. So who did? Was it the Breens that went to?
Yeah, I believe it was. Then? I believe it was one of the Breens went to both Jets, Falcons, but this year I will go to one.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's if we get them, but we probably will. We're big time. But anyway, so
big time.
So so I'm not talking firsthand here, but I know from hearing people talk about them, the fans seem to prefer Wembley as one, because of its prestige, but 2, because the you can tailgate there. There's actual tailgating and stuff to do outside. There's a bit more of an experience, and that's what people like. But then also a factor of this is that the owner of the Jags was very close to buying Wembley. Like he owns Fulham, so I'm surprised he didn't make a play for them to go there. But so I'm not. I think that there's something there about this. What's his name? Khan I don't know his first name. Shadiq Khan. So I think it's his connection and his influence that has pushed this for the Jags.
Probably.
Again, and Tottenham is a pain to. Yeah. Seven Sisters is a bit of a pain in the ass to get to.
Oh my god! It took like 2 hours to get out, and when and I think me and my mate we stayed like a pub for like maybe an hour afterwards, and it was still an absolute shocker to get out of there. But no, I think it's more to do with the Jags are the London team. They want to have as much of the experience as possible, so they can have the tailgating, so they can make it feel as basically like it's a normal thing. It's not like this is the Jags, this is the team, despite the fact that the Jags fucking suck. And if you support the Jags, you know what? Leave football. Unbelievable stuff. You don't know.
Do you know what? They're like the Liverpool Raptors of the NFL, is what like I've always said.
It's like I've always said.
Like I've always said.
Like I've always said. Yeah.
Since the mid-90s when they came about.
Yeah. To be fair, I think it was as soon as they got created, you were like, got a bang of Liverpool Raptors about these boys.
Yeah, yeah, it was a smattering of it when when it happened when they because it was them, the Carolina Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens that all created this franchise around the same couple of years. I lived in America at the time, and I remember saying as soon as the Jags came out, I remember saying to my dad, "Dad, you know that Florida team, that North Florida team, they're as shit as that Liverpool Raptors team." And you know what he said? He went, "Yes, son. Yeah, they are, son."
No, he went, "Who are the Liverpool Raptors?" Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve, you realise that all of this talking about Liverpool Raptors is going to end up with me having to go to watch the game.
It's going to end up with them in the Premiership.
Yeah. Liverpool. How far away is Liverpool from Coventry?
What do you make of? Green Bay, cool. That completes the 32. We collected all the badges in the UK.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Wembley. So this is the first time as well. It's the second time a game has been arranged in Mexico City, but the first one was changed to San Diego because it was fucked. Like they weren't ready. But you can imagine now that the Estadio Azteca is now ready. And what do you make of the assignment of the Arizona Cardinals as the team there?
Well, I think it's got to do with the thing that came out earlier in the year regarding teams' home markets sort of being expanded. And I believe that the Cardinals were one of the teams that were designated Mexico. Like, for example, in England, it was the Vikings, the Bears, the Dolphins, and the Jags. They were all designated for over here, which basically means if you're in San Francisco, you won't see advertisements for, let's say, Seattle Seahawks. You won't see them because that's not the home market. What that means is now, because we're now the home market for some of those teams, you will see more advertisements because we're now a home market for those teams. And it's the same thing for Mexico. Obviously, I think it's definitely good that it's Mexico because it's as good as Arizona because Arizona is obviously quite close to the border of Mexico.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like
that's exactly what it is. Because if you look at the game that was cancelled, that was supposed to be there, it was the Chiefs versus the Rams. Obviously,
well, what about
the Rams?
The Chargers now, LA, aren't they? They would have been perfect in San Diego. The same city.
So basically that's it. It's like they're looking for teams that sort of have the Hispanic population or close to the border. Probably the Texas teams, the Cardinals, like
Texas.
It will be one of those. The one that surprised me the most is the Saints because the Saints really haven't been particularly hot. They've lost Drew Brees. They've now lost their head coach. I don't suspect it's going to be a particularly great season for the Saints. I think that's going to end up being the game that's going to be compared to last year's one. Falcons versus Jets, which was shit. Again, it was. Who was it? I think I was offered free tickets to that game, not through Gridiron Hub. I was offered free tickets to that game, and I still didn't want to go. There you go.
I've been doing that for 10 years.
Go on. Come to one this year. Come on.
I just don't want to. I don't want to.
Come on.
I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather watch a Uniball game or a.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone would, and if you don't, you're wrong.
Yeah, unless it's the Liverpool Raptors. But, so the other one that I thought this was peculiar, and I don't know what. Actually, I don't know why I thought it was peculiar. It was always going to be an East Coast team, but Germany and Munich have been assigned Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The reason I'm surprised about this is because they're a successful team. They just won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. They got their stock is high as a team at the moment.
No, and then I think that's the reason why, because obviously this is the first game in Germany in God knows how long. I think it might be the first regular season game in Germany. I'm not sure if that's fully correct.
That's true.
Then there you go. I think that's what it is because people obviously over the last few years they get a sort of more and more audience members to come to watch the games. Tom Brady played for them. They won a Super Bowl. They're going to be quite popular, and I think that's the reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been scheduled to play in Germany.
Yeah, I just like with what I was expecting was actually a lesser or a team that aren't as hot essentially. So, maybe not the Jets, maybe that would be a bit insulting, but maybe the Ravens, maybe the Giants, the Buffalo, it would like another East Coast team that, I feel like they can sell or they can
sort of sell the idea of people going to watch it if they have someone like the Bucks there as the first team. Because now people won't go, I want to see who they play. Or no, it's the Bucks. I'm gonna go. It's sort of like me with the the Dolphins are playing. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing, Liverpool Raptors. Yeah, they could play Liverpool Raptors. And I was going to go to that game. It doesn't matter. Like, I'll probably go to one this year. There've been. I think one of my friends, he was like, it's like once in a lifetime, bucket list thing to watch Aaron Rodgers play if he's playing for Green Bay, which I think is fair. But I think after last year, I'm definitely going to go. I had a great time. I don't get out of the house very much, so it'd be nice to go.
Well, yeah, hopefully we'll get.
Well, hopefully I can get a media pass. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what
I think so. We'll see. See how if I can be bothered to apply for it.
No, please.
No, yeah, of course I will. Yeah, cool. I think that's enough for today. I did have the rule stuff to go through, but we can go through that another time.
No,
some quite interesting things to pull out, but we're down to about 30 viewers now, so everyone's just fucking switched off, which is cool.
If you say IFAF yard one more time, that will drop to 4.
Yeah. Well, I'm it's not over for me in the IFAF yard. I need to look into this more. I just can't. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm just saying whoever made that decision, it must be someone that used to be at one point in time involved with the Liverpool Raptors.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the rundown playoff week, week 1. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you all on Monday next week. We'll break down the playoffs. We'll see if there's any BAFA reports. With that, have a very, very good night. See you next week.
Cheers. Thank you.
Apart from the Liverpool Raptors.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves.